The round of the kingdom and the divine will in Lent and Holy Week, praying with the servant of God, Luisa Piccarreta, the little daughter of the divine will. May the kingdom of the divine will come to reign on earth. Fiat. My Lord Jesus Christ, come, fuse me in your thrice holy divine will, now, Lord. Come pray in my praying. May these prayers be prayed on behalf of all people of all time, past, present, and future, from fallen Adam to the last creature created. Lord, may these prayers be placed on the lips of every soul, in their minds and their hearts, for the sole purpose of loving you, Lord, giving you that love with which you love yourself already within the thrice holy Trinity. Fiat. Wednesday, midday. Antiphon. Jesus, in sum, I give you all that you are, to give you infinite satisfaction, eternal, immense, and infinite love. Round of Creation, 11. Prayer. I unite my steps to yours, and when you, weak, bled dry, and staggering, are about to fall, I shall be at your side to sustain you. I shall place my shoulders beneath the cross, so as to share its weight with you. Do not disdain me, but accept me as your faithful companion. I thank you and I worship you through each thought of creature. I thank you and I worship you over each thought of creature. I thank you and I worship you in every thought of creature. I thank you and I worship you in each thought of creature. I love you. Your kingdom come. Oh, please let it be known, loved, and possessed by the human generations. I thank you and I worship you, and I ask for the dominion of the divine fiat over each intelligence. I thank you and I worship you in the flight of every gaze. I thank you and I worship you through each gaze. I thank you and I worship you, and leave my I thank you and I worship you within them. I love you. Your kingdom come. Oh, please let it be known, loved, and possessed by the human generations. I thank you and I worship you, spoken through each mouth. I thank you and I worship you in the sound of every word. I thank you and I worship you through each word. I thank you and I worship you, and I seal in them my I thank you and I worship you to my Creator. I love you, and pray you that your eternal fiat be known, and just as it reigns triumphantly in heaven, it may come to reign triumphantly in the midst of creatures. Prayer. Jesus, my fallen love, let me help you to stand. Let me kiss you, dry your blood, and repair together with you for those who sin out of ignorance, fragility, and weakness. I pray you to give help to these souls. Antiphon. My suffering Jesus, I too unite with the pierced Mamma. Reading. Volume 13, November 16th, 1921. My daughter, during the course of my passion, all the other pains competed with each other, but they would alternate. One would give the place to another. Almost like sentries, they would mount guard to do the worst to me, and to boast about having been better than the other. But the ropes were never taken away from me. From the moment I was taken up to Mount Calvary, I remained always bound. Rather, they kept adding more and more ropes and chains, for fear that I might escape, and to make more fun of me. But how many pains, confusions, humiliations, and falls did these chains procure me? However, know that in these chains there was a great mystery and great expiation. As man begins to fall into sin, he remains bound with the chains of his own sin. If it is grave, they are iron chains. If venial, they are chains of rope. So, as he tries to walk in good, he feels the hindrance of the chains, and his step remains hindered. This hindrance he feels wears him out, debilitates him, and leads him to new falls. If he works, he feels hindrance in his hands and remains almost as if he had no hands to do good. In seeing him bound like this, passions make feast and say, "The victory is ours." And from the king he is, they render him slave of brutal passions. How abominable man is in the state of sin! And I, in order to break his chains, wanted to be bound and never be without chains, so as to keep my chains ever ready to break his. And when the blows and the shoves would make me fall, I would stretch my hands toward him to untie him and make him free again. As he was saying this, I saw almost all peoples bound by chains, in such a way as to arouse pity. And I prayed Jesus to touch their chains with his chains, so that at the touch of his chains, those of the creatures would be all shattered. Responsory. Jesus, I make all your pains, and every drop of your blood my own. You have reached the end of Wednesday midday. Fiat.